is not equal. Not every field is equivalent to one another. See, some fields produce great harvest. And other fields, it's very sporadic or maybe nothing at all. And we will learn through time that we have multiple fields in our lives, and sometimes we're really going to bring it in, if you will. We're really going to bring a harvest in. We're going to hit the jackpot, if you will. And then we'll go over here and we'll say, let me put my hand to this over here, and then we'll work that thing, and we'll work it, and we'll try, and we'll say, why am I not producing this field? I've had success over here, but I'm having trouble over here. Because not every field produces for you the same. You've got to find that field in which you have the greatest harvest in your life. The problem is what we do is we find a field that is troublesome, and we keep working and working and working that field, elder. Now, there's nothing wrong with trying. We shouldn't give up the first season, but there comes a point when you say, look, I have tried and tried and tried. I have given it all. I've done everything I can, but this field, for me, is not producing. So I need to just abandon that field. I need to have the maturity and the courage to say, you know what? That field is done. I'm just not having any fruit out of that field. The problem with working a field that is not producing is that we have a field that is producing that we are now neglecting in our lives. And we need to start recognizing that that field produces in my life. So therefore, I am going to walk away from that which is not producing and go towards that which is producing. And it sounds so elementary, but we don't do it. I want to live a life of productivity, that I feel fruitful. Amen. Some fields produce tasty crops. You ever gotten a tomato that was just, it's usually not out of Kroger, but it's usually out of somebody's garden, right? Our farm. So have you ever gone to a farm out in the country and just got fresh tomatoes? Some of you don't like tomatoes, but if you do, nothing like a real fresh, actually red tomato. And then you go later and you eat that Kroger tomato. You're like, what? Is this even edible? There is a difference that goes into that. That's the kind of thing we should be looking for, is for that good tomato, that thing that's bringing forth tastiness, if we could use that as a word. But there's other fields that produce tomatoes, and that thing's got a kick to it. A little bit of tart in it, it's almost like lemonade or something. It's a bitter tasting fruit. Well, where's that coming? It's coming from the ground. That field is not producing a good crop. So we have to abandon those things. Then there are other crops or fields that produce crops that you cannot contain. That's so much, and you say, man, I'm never going to eat all of these cucumbers. There's no way. I don't know why I planted 400 of them. But we do that, right? And we always... But yet it's producing a bountiful harvest, and so we can't get it. What do we do then? We say, wow, this has produced so much in my life, it's overflowing. Here, I want to bless you. I want to give you some cucumbers. I want to give you some tomatoes or something like that. And so then other people are blessed by our productivity in our life. But if we are stuck on that season, the wrong field, and we're trying to make that work, we are not bringing forth the bountiful harvest over here, so we cannot be a blessing to someone else. Anybody hearing this today? Amen. There are other types of fields in our lives. Number one, I wrote down children. Children are a field that we cultivate. What about marriage and employment or self-employment? What about faith? Faith is a field. Friendships, those are fields. And dreams, education, our parents as they grow older, finances, all these things are fields, Mike, in our lives. And we have to work each one of those fields. Now, I'm here to tell you that not every one of those fields will produce equally in your life. You will look at someone and say, wow, that children field really produced for that lady over there.